What does it mean to be named the Illinois Realtor of the Year?
Being named the Realtor of the Year for Illinois was very, very special for me. It's one of those things after many years in the industry when you receive an award like this, it has a lot of meaning because this is an award that really comes from your peers. So it's something that I'm going to always remember.
How important is it for realtors to contribute back to the industry as you have done throughout your career?
You know, I started volunteering for the associations back in 1985. And at that time, I started volunteering because I was encouraged to do so from a friend of mine. And at that time, I really never thought that I'd be involved for this long. But I can tell you, because of all of my involvement, I've made many friends that I wouldn't have made because of all of the activities that I have done. The other thing is, well, not only do you make friends, but I've always thought it was important to be able to have your opinions heard on very important issues of the day. And because of your involvement, you can do that. And then I guess finally, I would say that, yes, you do get some referrals from this business. I have, over the years, received referrals from other realtor members that I have worked with on different committees.
You have 30 years in the business. You've seen ups and downs in the market. What advice do you have for realtors on how to be successful in today's market?
You know, we have a business where our success or failure is really, really up to us. It doesn't matter what company you work for. It doesn't matter about your buyers or sellers. It really doesn't matter about the market. It's all your attitude, your work ethic. You have to be willing to work 40 hours a week, whether or not the market is slow or the market is hot. But if you work very hard, even in this market, you will be successful. You may not make as much money as you've made in the past, but you will be successful. But you have to put your heart and soul into this business. That's very important.
You have always been involved in technology. What role does it play in a realtor's success today, especially for how it is evolving in the area and realm of social media?
You know, social media is just one of many, many technological advances that have occurred over the last few years. And I have to tell you, I wonder what we'll be talking about 5 years from now, what the advances will be then. But let's talk about social media just for a second. I've always said that realtors have to understand the technologies that the consumers that they're working with do. And social media is something that can really help a realtor's business. Think about this for a second. When you set up your site on Facebook, you can start following your past customers just to see what they're talking about. And just by following your past customers, you're going to probably find out things like when they're planning on moving because either their family is growing or perhaps they're taking a job elsewhere. That's just one small example that you can do with Facebook. And then you have things like Twitter. The thing I like about Twitter is it limits you to 140 characters, and so it's something that you can just go in and out very quickly. And you can follow people that you have an interest with. And so again, this is one of the technologies I think that we're going to see a lot of use of in the future. I think our customers will start following us on Twitter as well.
How important is it for a realtor to be an interpreter of real estate data for their clients?
You know, it wasn't all that long ago when we always had the comfort of knowing that we'd attract buyers and sellers. Because why? Because of the MLS. Well, you know what? The data is available to the consumers today all over the internet, so that really is no longer the case. But the bottom line is this. For realtors to stay in the center of the transaction, the realtors have to provide things that the consumers need. They have to be the person that's going to interpret the data. They have to be the expert that knows the neighborhoods. They have to be the one that the consumers will want to go to get that information. Data is one thing, but the raw data alone to the consumer, and they realize it sooner or later, is meaningless unless they're working with someone that can help them understand the data.
As the industry moves through this economic crisis, do you believe the industry will be better off as a result after we have ridden out this storm?
You know, I think to begin with, you have to realize how we got to where we're at today. You know, periodically we always go through a recession. This is the third major recession that I can remember, and I started in the business in 1978. But of course, this is probably the first recession where I think it really hit consumers the hardest when it comes to real estate. But how did we get here? One of the reasons that we got here was because of the exotic loan products that were out in the marketplace between, I'd say, 2000 and 2006. And a lot of the people that took advantage of those loans are now losing their homes, and that's why we're seeing all the short sales and the foreclosures. Now, as a result of all the short sales and the foreclosures, we have an unstable market and we're seeing values dropping. But here's the good news. The good news is, right now, the government recognizes what's happening. The regulators are starting to tighten up the qualifying guidelines on these loans, and the loans that are being made today these are good loans that are being made. Buyers can afford to repay these loans in these terms. And here's what's going to happen. Now that we have the good loans out there starting to be made, in the next year or so, we're going to go through the rest of the foreclosures and the short sales. And when that happens, and now that we have the good loans out there, we're going to probably go back to a market, I think, that we saw in the 90s, where we saw a steady, slow, 3% a year appreciation rate. And if that happens, I think we'll be in great shape.
Tonight you're being honored as the Illinois Realtor of the Year. What is your message going to be to the audience this evening?
My message is this. When the going gets tough, never, 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 never give up.